Welcome to geometry. Geometry, by the way, my single least favorite part of math in high school, in my entire high school experience. I hated geometry, but with that said, you guys are going to love it. Okay, so we got a little bit of geometry in this week, and next week, let's get started. So again, I'm going to be doing notes on my own paper. You can either print out the notes or use your own paper. But again, there's a lot to write down here if you're using your own paper. So I'd recommend that you print out these, but it's up to you. Okay, so we got a lot of definitions in these videos, so just sit tight. We're going to use them. I'm not going to quiz you super hard on them. Remember, things are open book, open notes. So just know that they're here and know how to use them. So we're going to start by talking about different types of angles. You may have seen them before. We got acute angles, means less than 90 degrees. A right angle is exactly 90 degrees. An obtuse angle is more than 90 degrees. And then we can have a straight angle, which is exactly flat 180 degrees. Okay, and yes, there's plenty of bad jokes about your acute angle or stop being obtuse, and there's garbage comics, and I thought about showing you these stupid comics. There's one where it's like this 1950s husband who says, "Oh, you're always right, Vivian," and there's this, and his wife is a right triangle. But I'm not showing them to you, not in the video anyway, but they exist, trust me. All right, so we got one more definition, two-part definition, and then we can do some examples. Okay, so we're going to be talking about supplementary and complementary angles. Side note, there are two ways to spell complement. One is, hey, you have nice shoes, Brian. That is a compliment with an I, but complement with an E, complementary angles are like complementary colors, not with an I. So small spelling, it doesn't matter. I don't care how you spell in this class. So two angles are complementary if they add up to 90 degrees. Okay. So we got a little bit of notation here. There's a bunch of jaggedy things going on. Let's look at this real quick. This says 0 degrees is less than or equal to angle A. So this means angle, and this is the less than or equal to sign, remember. So this just means that A has to be positive, right? We want A to not be a negative angle, which those exist. We'll worry about them later. And then the angle B has to be less than or equal to 90 degrees. So they're complementary if the sum of their angles is 90 degrees. Supplementary is basically the same definition, but instead of 90 degrees, it's 180 degrees. Okay. One way to remember which one's which, and again, you don't have to memorize these. You have your notes. Is, I don't know, complementary is earlier in the alphabet, right? C is earlier in the alphabet, so it's the one that comes first, the 90 degrees. I don't know. There's better ways of doing this. Let's do an example. Example 6.1. So look at the straight angle ABC. Remember ABC? This is what a straight angle because it forms 180 degrees total. Find the measure of Dragon Ball Z. All right, that was really stupid. Find the measure of, so M is the measure of DBC, okay? So DBC is this angle right here. So I'm going to copy this picture down onto my notes, and we're going to do example 6.1. So this is what we've got. We've got A, B, C, and then D is shooting up like this, and we know that this angle right here is 136 degrees. We also know that ABC is 180 degrees, right? So if this whole thing that I'm doing in a dotted line, dashed line, whatever you want to call it, is 180 degrees, well then ABD is not complementary, is a supplementary angle to DBC, right? Because if you add up this angle with this smaller angle, we get the whole 180 degree angle. So So these two angles are supplementary. Okay? So all that's left to do is say, okay, we know dashed is 180. We know this one's 136. So if we want to know this angle over here, which I believe is what we were asked to find, the measure of DBC, we want this angle right here. That's just going to be the measure of angle DBC is equal to 180 degrees minus 136 degrees. And then you type that into a calculator and you should get 44 degrees. And there we go. We are angling. Let's do another one and then we'll be done with this video. So we got example 6.2. And I'm just going to copy this down again. Again, if you print out these notes by yourself, you don't have to copy them down like I'm doing. But it's a lot of paper. I recommend printing them out so you have it all together, but it's up to you. So we know that angle RST is a right angle, which we denote right angles with a box like this. And then we also know RSP, this angle right here, is 67 degrees. And we want to find the measure of PST, Pacific Standard Time. By the way, we're not technically in Pacific Standard Time. That's going to start in like a month or two. Anyway, angle PST. Whenever I do math, there's all these letters, right? And I just always think of the other abbreviations. There was, in college, I remember there was, we kept on using NX in one of my math classes, and it always reminded me of something in a video game I was playing. Anyway, so this is what we want to find. Well, hey, this is similar to 6.1. Instead of, look, we have two supplementary angles here. Well, now we have two complementary angles here. They're going to add up to 90 degrees. That's great. Complementary angles. So we could have said that, right? DBC and DBA are supplementary angles, and here these two angles are complementary. They add up to 90 degrees. So the measure, oh, whoa, that was very nice, Jason. Nice job. The measure of angle PST. This is another way of phrasing it. There's a lot of ways of phrasing this. Plus 67 is going to equal 90 degrees. They are supplementary. Or we can subtract 67 degrees from both sides and get that the measure of angle PST is equal to 90 degrees minus 67 degrees, which you can use a calculator, should be 23 degrees. Okay, and there we go. Video incomplete. Go ahead and get started on the homework. Let me know if you have questions.